United States of America. Did you ever think that would happen, sir?
Here's a strange thing. This just in. Remember when all the KGB files were recovered? I know, let's go back to 1989, 1990, when the wall went down. And then we checked all the Stasi files. And then we opened up those files. And then we opened up some files in Russia. And we compared some files. And you know what we discovered? McCarthy was right. No! No!
Couldn't be!
Get away with that bad doggy! No! That cannot be! I am going to show you something tonight. I don't know what you're going to ask me about. I have something to talk about if you do want to talk about something.
Yes.
Little umbrage on my part.
Yes.
Californians, I want to show you what you got. Now, I did hear some of what you were talking about in terms of China just before I came on. So I thought, let's look at how some of your tax dollars are being spent for Chinese products. I have two examples right here that you'll be able to see on television. Now, let me show you this. This is part of PPE, personal protective equipment. Now, in many hospitals, this is, this is not a cheap mask. I have right here, this is an actual real N95 mask.
Yes.
I ordered I ordered boxes of these back in 2016, I believe.
Yes.
Way before it became fashionable. And I have literally about 100 of these that I got a ridiculously good deal on. Because Mr. Fat Stupid thought something ridiculous was going to happen in the future, so I stocked up. Let me just show you. Here's one of the many boxes that I have that this stuff is from. If you'll notice, it says 3M.
Yeah.
I make a point with that. This mask is by 3M.
Yeah.
This is a quality piece of PPE. Note the filter on the front. Note the padding inside. Notice that this is something of a quality nature that people might actually want to buy. Well, let me put it this way. To the point where, if you remember at the very beginning of this bullshit, right around February or March, people were saying, don't buy N95 masks. Why were they saying? Hey, tell the person that's coughing in the background, I hope they feel better. Why can't you purchase N95 masks? You know why? Because they wanted to leave it to the doctors and the nurses and the medical professionals. There's a reason that people wear N95 masks. This is a quality mask. Okay, now I think you've seen this version. This is a real honest-to-good mask. If I'm holding it up, not upside down, you can actually read N95 on this mask from 3M. Okay. Now, remember that in your brain housing group. Because next, I have this. Now, this may look something similar to a piece of paper that you cut out, or maybe even a cloth, or the scarf that used to hang around your dog's neck, and you decided to cut it out. Okay. Well, here it is on one side. Here it is on another. Now, perhaps you're thinking to yourself, why this ridiculous comparison between something that appears to be quality and something that I don't know what the hell it is yet? Well, here's my answer. You see this mask?
Yes.
Kind of thin. Does this look maybe a little cheaper to you, Ken? Just a question.
Just slightly cheaper.
Does it look like it might be, I don't know, maybe a little thinner to you, Sir Ken?
I'll be honest with you. It looks like the old McDonald hat wear that it used to have put on.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to let you know. Here we go. This is how thin that mask is,
Mm.
and it's molded just this way. Now, let me see if you can see this. This
Mm-hmm.
is an N95 mask from China.
Wow.
Do you see the Chinese script there? And in the numbers, kind of small, but official, it says N95. Now, why might it say N95?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is bullshit. And here's why. These masks are part of the order that was sent and purchased by the state of California under the auspices of Gavin Newsom. This is one of millions of masks that he purchased for $1 billion. That's billion dollars of California taxpayer money. It turns out that this mask ran for, I don't know, depending on what he got it for and which order and shipment we're talking about. This mask went for anywhere from $5 to $8 now. The mask, yeah. So, state of California people, for billions of dollars, let's see. Would you rather have this mask
Made in America.
from 3M, or would you rather have this little crappy piece of crap?
Mm.
$5 to $8 per mask here. When I originally bought this, $2 a mask.
Mm. Mm.
You folks are getting your money's worth in California. Always spell it with a K.
Isn't it true that they Gavin lost like hundreds of thousands of 3M masks out in California? IA spelled with a K.
I'm not sure about that. And I'll tell you what, the only reason that I got a copy of this mask, this is an actual mask from that lot, is because I know a state worker who had access to these masks and actually was cognizant of the fact that $1 billion, not $1 million, $1 billion were spent by California taxpayers for a cheap piece of crap like this. So he looked at this, had access to this, is in the medical field, and said, this is an N95 mask like I'm a J88 Stuka. By the way, he's not a Stuka, and this is not an N95 mask. This is a piece of junk made in China by a car company that was, oh, by the way, going out of business. And Gavin Newsom resurrected that car company and kept those people in China employed to run this shit off their factory lines.
Wow.
Woohoo, United States.
Wow. And I got to ask you, can you also use that as a filter for sauce? You know, you pour your sauce through and filter.
You might be able to do that. I have recently used it for cleaning the crap out of the bottom of the parakeet cage. Or if you go to the park, and you have a doggy, see how it's kind of it's kind of open like that. You can use one end to pick up, the clean end of the turd with this mask and kind of enfold it, kind of fold it like that, and then make your way to the nearest trash can and dump in your official California, always spell it with a K, N95 mask, because that's what it's good for, cleaning up dog turds.
But you got to give it to Gavin. He saw the multiple uses for the N95 mask. He's well ahead of his time. How many people has he killed with those masks right there in California? You would spell it with a K?
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you that these have been utilized. but here's, I cannot tell you that these have gone out in a massive fashion, because here's another thing I found out. Nurses and doctors won't talk to you, even when they're your friends, about what's really going on in hospitals. Now, I'm making this reference within somebody that I know here in the state of California, in a hospital that happens to be in downtown Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
But this individual will not even take me aside in another room in another damn county and sit down and tell me what's actually transpiring in the emergency rooms and up on the floors of a hospital in Sacramento. I know this dude. This is where I got this. I got it from him. But he won't talk about what's going on in our hospitals. So, folks, that's called a clue. When you have people that are in the biz that are not talking to you, because the issue right now, at least in California, we spell it with a K, is cases, cases, cases. And if you just tuned in, it's cases, cases, cases. And the hospital rooms are backed up and jacked up. And just by his refusal to talk to me about that, made all the bells and klaxons go off in my wheelhouse, in my Mark 1 Model 1 Brainulus, and say something similar to, I don't trust any of this crap. You shouldn't either. I don't trust the media anymore. I don't trust Newsom. I don't trust California. Always spelled it with a K. I don't trust anything that comes out of D.C., and I'm sorry for you having to live there, comma, Ken.
Mm-hmm. Spell it with a K.
But we have, Ken, always spelled it with a K. Capital K, by the way. Special K. No, Ken, you are a special K. You are a special K.
Thank you.
Because why? Why, you ask? Because you are the exceptional conservative. Dun, dun, dun.
Since we're spelling cases with a KKK, I gotta ask you here. Why do we need a vaccine for a virtual disease that disappears in 99% of the American people? And in addition to that, why are we asking the military to investigate whether there is a stronger strain in Britain of this particular virus? Does any of that make sense to you?
Well, let's see. Cuomo is saying, shut everything off. Shut everything off now. Other people, Fauci, our beloved Dr. Fauci. Wait, who knows all, who sees all, has said, no, you don't need to shut down air traffic from the UK. That's a little bit overboard. Who do you believe? Do you believe anymore? The big question is, we're all being gaslighted. We're all in that together in terms of being gaslighted. But who do you believe? You can't believe your damn lying eyes. So if we take a vaccine and we take it and we can't go out, and let's see, I have a simile to make here. Getting a brand new vaccine that's never really been tested before is not entirely dissimilar to buying the first model year of a brand new car or truck, because who would do that? So let your conscience be your guide in that. But we've been vaccinated. Now, Fauci and other people, I can't think of the doctor's name, said, well, even though you're vaccinated, you still have to hide like a rat in the fetal position, quivering under your desk like a bowl of jelly. Because cases. And then a certain leftist asked me the other day on social media, you ridiculous conservative, you don't care if people die. There are thousands and thousands of people dying all over the place. Okay, what would you do to stop it? And the answer is, the very simple answer is, it's a pandemic. You can't stop it. Hi, Washington, D.C., FM voice, talking about pandemics with Ken McClinton. It's a pandemic, and you can't stop it. But it's true. It's a
That's
pandemic, and you can't stop it.
that's our
That's
NPR
what they
inner
do.
voice, ladies and gentlemen. Just
I know.
explaining to you that in order to have a pandemic, people
Right.
must die. Lest it
Right,
be
Ken.
not known a
It's a
pandemic.
pandemic. Oh,
Yeah.
also, I was asked this question as well. Oh, if you're on Twitter and you're not reading the tweets of Dr. Samadi, Samadi, on Twitter, you're doing yourself a disservice, because this is one of the few guys who has apparently a ton more testicles than my alleged good friend working at a hospital who won't talk to me, which tells me volumes right there. But essentially, what he's saying is that, yeah, recovery rates from this, if you're 0 to 20, are still 99.99%. That hasn't changed. Those are the CDC numbers. And the CDC just came out recently, and I'm sure you were talking about this, Ken, were you not? Where it looks as though up to 96% of the deaths that are being attributed directly to Wuhan 19 were deaths where probably something else was actually involved in that. So cases, Ken.
There you go.
Cases.
You know, it's real sad that we have become so feeble-minded. I mean, I believe our founding fathers would be,
It's fear porn.
turning over in their graves at this particular juncture to know that we have, at the moment, noticed that someone in aisle 6 has Wuhan flu, that we're all going to die. And somehow that feeble little mask, the one I've been wearing since March, that I have never washed, and it still sits in the car, and I pull it out when I go into the grocery store. And yeah, that same little mask. I have the ultimate mask because it kept me from getting COVID. It is definitely the mask, not my immune system. It's the mask that did it. Oh my goodness, feeble mind.
Well, the other thing that these doctors were saying is, remember how everybody is they're saying two things simultaneously. All the leftists and Democrats are saying cases, and they're also saying something similar to, "Oh, I wonder where all the flu cases went." I can't figure that one out. That's pretty crazy. Where'd all them flu cases go?
Hey, Ma, go look in the
I'm
kitchen. I'm looking for a flu
McClinton
case.
FM voice, and I'll say, I'll let you figure that one out.
Now, also, one other thing, and I want to switch over to what I wanted to talk with you about. Weren't we told in March not to go to the hospitals unless it was necessary? Stay in the home if you're sick.
Sure, stay in the home.
So,
right.
This is kind of like the election. And who told the people to stop counting? Number one, in 6 different states, 7, and then who told everyone to go to the hospital? Who's the guy? Who's that guy?
So apparently, most of the minions of the United Snakes of America can't listen for crap. Look, we told you to stay the hell at home. And we told you you can't eat indoors. And we told you you can't eat outdoors. You can't walk. You can't pee. Those holidays are right the hell out. Don't even think about Thanksgiving. Well, Thanksgiving went away. Don't even think about Christmas. Well, you got a couple of days to think about that. But then we started to do some numbers, and other people were beginning to say something similar to, looks like people are getting COVID. Well, I'm sorry, Wuhan 19, from being locked inside. And that the numbers would tend to indicate that the transmission rate for people actually attending restaurants indoors are out about 1.5%. That number just came out. Of course, that doesn't stop a good leftist from screwing up a good state, including your state as well. Don't you guys feel happy? Aren't you better for having listened to your governors and done exactly what they told you to do, exactly when they told you to do it? I feel better. Now, I'm not saying this, because I've been accused of this as well. Folks, if you don't know me by now, Ken does.
Yes.
I am the damn poster child for co-morbidity. I'm in my 7th decade. I'm only about 100 pounds overweight minimum. But never stopped me from saying that I'm in shape. Round is a shape, okay? My lungs are not great. I don't walk a whole lot. My health is not fabulous. And I'll be honest, I've worn a mask maybe 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
I handle everything in a store. I've been to Costco. I've been to a Kmart. I've been to Costco a bunch of times. Guilty. By the way, it's a truism. You can't go into a Costco and not spend a minimum of $100.
Yep.
I don't know if you know it or not, but that's a rule. It's a rule. It's a law. It's the Costco rule, as a matter of fact.
And they also
I've handled all the gas pumps.
They do the wallet check on you to make certain that you do have $100 before coming through the door.
Now, see, here's the cool thing about California, always spell it with a K, is the fact that they have machines that look through your wallet when you walk in the door, and they can tell whether you have $100 in cash. Because haven't you ever seen those black-clothed, ninja-looking guys with hoodies and little feeties? All of a sudden, you see somebody that was walking in front of you, and you see a couple of these guys in black PJs, and they pull that guy aside, and the next thing you know, you see him, he's outside in the front acting for alms for the poor. Alms for the poor. That's because he didn't have enough money in his wallet, or they checked his credit as he was coming in, because they can do that with the technology now.
Yep.
And had to kick his butt out. But I've been handling everything in Costco's, everything in grocery stores, pushing all the doors. I don't wear gloves. I've never worn gloves. I pick up the same stuff that all the other people pick up as well. I'm still here. If there's somebody that ought to be on the CAC list first, it's me. That having been said, I'm not disputing that many people have died because of Wuhan 19. That's not in disputation. What's in disputation is whether it was two very critical words in difference. The words are from and with. And it makes all the difference in the world. But we're discovering that these assholes are still continuing to lie to us. It's about money and power and control. Period.
There you go.
As I said I started saying this last year. I said it in 2016. In an election year, I'm not talking about, like local elections, but generally presidential elections. In an election year, everything is about the election. I have been completely disabused of coincidence anymore. I don't believe it at all. And we had somebody that was on, am I rambling? We had somebody that was on Tucker Carlson's show that said a Chinese virologist who had to leave China because she thought she'd probably get killed, which is not necessarily to say that she's walking around alive today, because she went on the Tucker Carlson show and essentially said, I know that this was created in a Chinese lab, and I believe that it was purposely released to the rest of the planet. Well, in a real world, those would be fighting words. Can you imagine? This is called Beezy's reversal axiom. Mm-hmm. Now, everything that China has done to the planet, take out the word China and insert instead United States. Would not the world have shut off every flight, every ship, every container, every bit of cargo from the United States, taken us to the UN, attempted to sue us crapless in the world court, done everything imaginable, because it's a heinous crime if we had done that, and China pays nothing. As a matter of fact, China is still courting all of our politicians, and we're this far from seeing China run our country. Now, I heard you talk about Richard Blum, who has made millions on China, and Dianne Feinstein, husband and wife. why did Dianne Feinstein get a heads up about the driver that was in her office for 20 years? First, it was said only 10 years. Then it turned out to be 20 years, who began as her driver and then ended up as her personal assistant. Do you think it was tough for that guy if he wanted to? Because, come on, he didn't do it. To get into her laptop, her desk, when she was head of the security briefings and knew everything at those times about intelligence, about American intelligence. That guy didn't do anything. Yet she got a heads up from the FBI. Excuse me, madam. We should tell you that we think you have a spy, and we're going to do something about it right now. And Donald Trump, Comey said, I know, let's send some agents into the White House because Trump is a dumb shit, and we're going to take advantage of that and interview Michael Flynn, and our agents are going to determine that he didn't really lie, and we're going to open an investigation on Trump. Hell, why should we give him a heads up like we gave Feinstein? We hate his ass. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now we got Eric Swalwell. I don't know. Doesn't it just upset your mouth and your lips to have to say the word Swalwell? That's in and of itself. It's kind of a creepy word. We're after it. Yeah, we're after it. Yeah, after you say, you could say, I had Swalwell once, but I got over it. Thank God for antibiotics. I had to go to Ileton to see a Chinese doctor. Damn those Chinese doctors, to try to get some antibiotics to get rid of Swalwell. And then after saying the word Swalwell, then you have to go into the bathroom, flip up some Listerine in the little red packets, and oh God, finally my mouth feels better. I can't say Swalwell again. Oh my God, where's the bathroom?
Actually, I think that would be an adequate description of Kamala Harris. Swalwell.
Yeah.
Nickname matcher.
Brown Swalwell? Brown Swalwell?
Swalwell.
Knee pad well? How are your knee pads? Are your knee pads okay? Mine are worn through years ago. I have to keep ordering them on Amazon. How about you? Are you laughing? This
her
is
knee
serious
pads
stuff.
were made in China. Anyway.
Yeah, apparently that's why they wore through. You can't do that. Always get your knee pads from Oshkosh, okay? Oshkosh, bagosh.
Gotta ask you, which is worse?
Sir.
America's lethargy or the Marxists coup d'etat? Which one is worse right now?
It's a toughie.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a 5 o'clock toughie. What? You can't say that here, Biff. BZ, rewind. Ken, rewind the tape. Rewind it. Okay, now, I didn't say that.
Let me delete that section.
Yeah, right. Okay. It is difficult because absent the complete withdrawal of interest in politics by the average American citizen, I'd have to lean on it's apathy that's worse, because absent the apathy, you couldn't have China doing what it's doing right now. And I'm not saying Russia is a bad actor, or isn't a bad actor, and that Putin isn't a bad actor. But the GDP of Russia, as compared to the GDP of China, the intentions of Russia, the size of Russia, they don't match China. China is telling you, well, they already told us, by 2024, that's less than 4 years away, they want to dominate the U.S. completely. Economically, societally. It's like listening to, every once in a while, you have to listen to Islam, because when they tell you they want to kill you, maybe you ought to listen, because maybe they actually want to kill you. When China says it wants to dominate your ass by 2024, maybe you might want to take them seriously and start to okay, here's a perfect example. This just came into my brainulus.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I'm going to a UFO convention in San Jose. Actually, it's in Santa Clara. Now, when people hear of the phrase of the locale, Silicon Valley, you have to realize that there is no real Silicon Valley. There is no town or city or county named Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is just an appellation that was applied to an area that became sort of ground zero for computers and software, blah, blah, blah. It spills into San Jose, it spills into Santa Clara and Santa Clara County. So that area has also been a great attraction for whom? Oh, that's right. The Chinese trying to steal technology. So I went to a UFO conference because that's the way I roll with my wife. And we met George Norrie, met a couple of other people, had a great time. But it was in, I think it was the Santa Clara Conference Hall. Mm-hmm. While we were there, because there are two huge rooms there, they also had the, I don't know, whatever the hell it was, 2015 or 2016 technology tech. It was named like Tech Expo, California Tech Expo, or something like that. When I was bored, I was able to walk right in. Now they had numerous displays, huge place. It's no exaggeration when I'm saying that the people that were staffing the booths were tons of races, mostly white, but there were a lot of other races in there too.
Yeah.
The people that were attending the expo, to me, they were speaking Mandarin. I can tell the difference in speaking Chinese and forms of Chinese and Japanese because of the syllables. Boy, okay, syllabalization. I finally got that out.
There you go.
And the difference between the two. But the place was packed with not Japanese, but Chinese individuals. Packed. Back then, China was doing, and has never stopped, after 1995 when good old Clinton sold an assload of technology to China, and to Russia too, for that matter. They're here to steal anything and everything they can. When you are a corporation and you go to China, it's like if you're teaching a class and you go to somebody else's sponsor, you have to turn over your syllabus so that they have the information about your class, which means that that school district or entity demanding your syllabus means you can be kicked to the curb and they can teach your class. Yep. China's the same damn way. When you take a business into China, you got to give them your syllabus. You got to turn over various secrets and technologies and processes over to them. We're so damn greedy out of the United States, and corporations are such suck-ups. Well, they're going to continue to do that. China is a huge untapped market, but China is not the end-all and be-all in the world. People think it's a monetary and powerhouse. Yeah, to a degree it is, but Xi Jinping all along has kind of cocked up things. Mm-hmm. They're not the economic powerhouse that you may be led to believe. If you ever listen to Gordon Chang, anywhere he appears, Fox News or I don't know where he appears, the dude is spot on with his analyses of China. They're not here to be your friend. Just like they stated, they're here to dominate your ass. So Americans being apathetic, that's how we got to where we are now. Plus, China has told you it's going to do everything within its power to make inroads. And there's another phrase that I've had, but this has been true. I can't say it's necessarily my phrase. Mm-hmm. That which gets repeated gets rewarded, meaning that if you continue to not stop or block China, that's an impetus for China to continue doing exactly what the hell they're doing. Or any other bad actor, not just China. Antifa, leftists, anarchists, etc. If you stop it, it's going to keep going. If there aren't consequences. 2020 is the year of no consequences. None. Zero. And we're going to pay the price.
We're going to pay a very heavy price. Ladies and gentlemen, BZ with us tonight. Biff Zeppe, I'm giving you these final moments before we go to a commercial break and come back with the ending of our look at communism in the United States. And authoritarianism and totalitarianism is not a modern thing. It's not a new thing.
No.
This has been going on since the ages began. Someone wants to be the kid with the biggest stick in the playground or the play yard. And China wants to be that big stick. And so I got to ask you tonight, as we head towards Christmas, your thoughts on this particular year and your thoughts towards this particular Christmas.
The only thing you have left are family and friends. If you're placing all your cards on the government to help you or even care about your plight, you're going to be sorely disappointed. I can't wait for 2020 to end. With this caveat, don't anticipate that 2021 is going to be significantly better. However, I see signs. I see signs of life. Now, enjoy your holidays. Do whatever the hell you want with your family. Keep your family close, your friends. I don't have much of a family. Oh well. I'm talking about all of you folks out there and Ken watching right now. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your New Year. There's a lot of stuff that you can't do anything about. There's a lot of stuff that you can't control. But I've been inspired by two particular people in 2020. Do I have another couple of minutes, Ken?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, sir. I've been inspired by two people. There's this guy who was running for assembly, Republican. He was running for Republican. He was the Republican candidate for assembly in District 9 in California. Always spell it with a K. Guy came out of nowhere. Eric Rigard, Rigard, was running against an entrenched candidate and came a lot closer to unseating this guy than anyone ever suspected. This guy was on a monetary shoestring for a budget. I send him a bunch of bucks because I get to do that. Mm-hmm. But he's a religious guy. He has faith. He got a lot done, and all he did was show up, listen to people, and I wouldn't be surprised that in a couple of years, well, I know he's going to be back. And I wouldn't be surprised if he beats the crap out of the guy that he's running against. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I saw, so he came from the community. He's a guy that said personally, locally, he'd had enough, and he was going to run for state assembly. That's an awful large aspiration. Then the other person that I've had on my show recently is a chick named Gabrielle Ingram, Ingram. She is really a community activist. This is all behind COVID, Wuhan 19. It had kicked her family's butt. They had savings, whereas all around her, she saw that people without savings, they're getting demolished. People are getting divorced. Suicides are skyrocketing. You know the whole biz. Kids can't go back to school. Parents don't know what to do. They're losing their mortgage. They're losing their house, car, apartment, etc. And then the county of Sacramento, which is where I live and where she lives, decided that they were going to consider levying a $10,000 fine if health workers or whoever they sent out to businesses adjudged that you were in whatever violation they came up with in terms of Wuhan 19. Well, you're talking, and they were considering about doing this to individuals. Well, she started a little Facebook group, Stand Up Sacramento County. Started with 2 people. It's got a couple of hundred people now. I've had her on the show because she's an excellent spokeswoman. She saw a problem in the community, and she started being motivated to work against it. Gavin Newsom is being sued left and right. He may actually get recalled. People are starting to not take this anymore. She's part of it. Gabrielle Ingram. Eric Regard is part of it. You're seeing people push back in Salem, Oregon. You're seeing people all across the nation, in New York, in Long Island, in Staten Island, push back against these onerous rules and regulations. You don't need to spend trillions and trillions of dollars if back then you treated people like adults and let them set up their businesses, masks, whatever precautions you wish to take. Treat people like adults, because we're discovering the numbers. I mean, 2020 smell test. If you went and it didn't pass the smell test, yeah, it's probably crap. Mm-hmm. So 2021 going to be a tough year. Not gonna negate that possibility, but I see a potential turn on the horizon, even if Biden gets in. Parenthesis, we gotta hold the Senate. Those 2 seats in Georgia, we have to win. Otherwise, the Biden-Harris clan and all the leftists behind them are going to steamroller this nation. It's not over. It's not over. Don't get so terribly depressed. Just be aware.
Amen on that one. Be aware. Listen, to you and your wife, because you and I share the same fate with family. Mrs. Biggs and I celebrated our 22nd anniversary.
Oh, God bless you guys.
Yep. And unfortunately, the phone did not ring once from anybody in our family.
Imagine that.
Yeah. So you know how it goes. We both know how it goes. So unto a fellow warrior and great patriot, to you and your lovely wife, Merry Christmas to you. Hopefully we'll see you next week. If not, God bless you all and enjoy your time together. Our heart to yours.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, Ken. Merry Christmas to Mrs. Biggs and everybody listening. Keep listening to TECN. You want to talk about freedom? You want to talk about informed people? Listen to TECN and Ken right here. God bless you, sir. Merry Christmas.
God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, the great one himself, B. Zeppe, Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. You can see his stuff on SHR Media. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, he has a show tomorrow night. I don't know about Christmas Eve, but it's Berserk Bobcat Saloon at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific. Part of that California, I spelled it with a K, contingency out there with SHR Media. God bless them all. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick break. We're going to play 2 clips, and when we come back, I want to finish our conversation about communism. Yes, Xi Jinping is probably the most powerful member of the Democrat Marxist Party of America. We'll be right back.